Well, the long overdue whack on MP pension plans came down today. They're almost like everyone else. Now, joining me to talk about this is Treasury Board President Tony Clement. He brought down the axe this morning, and he joins me in the foyer. Welcome to the show. And on behalf of taxpayers, congratulations.
I think it is big news.
I think you did this. You went through this once in Ontario already when they eliminated the Ontario pension
plan. We did indeed, yes, when I was a legislator there, and here we are making some changes. I think it's good news for taxpayers. It is respecting the taxpayer. It is doing the right thing and paying our fair share, and I think that's what taxpayers expect.
All right, let's just quickly get the essence of this. It takes the MP pension plan from what to what?
Well, right now, the MP pays about $11,000 a year contribution for his pension. That'll go up to $39,000 a year. It goes from about 14% of the cost to about 50-50. So we're phasing that in over a few years, but we'll start January 1st, 2013, and it'll be fully phased in by 2017.
Okay, and it also raises the eligibility age, correct?
It does, from to get your full pension. From 55 all the way up to 65, and that will take place starting January 1st, 2016.
All right, but nothing really changes until the next election.
No, that's not true. The contribution rate for MPs adding to their contribution for their pension starts 2013, January 1st. So assuming this bill passes, we'll start right away upping the contribution rate until we get to 50%.
Okay, but the change from 55 to 65 takes place.
That takes place after the next election, so that people know what they're running for and what their responsibilities will be to their families.
So if you're 53 and you're an MP, you got to sort of have a decision to make. Because if you stick around past 2015, you're going to then have to retire and get the 65, right?
That's right.
65?
Absolutely.
So a guy named Stephen Harper, just to throw a name out, who's 53, might have to decide whether he wants to get out and collect his pension.
I'm sure he'll be around. And we, most of us make decisions based on, what we can contribute to the country.
One thing it does apply to is also public servants. So the MPs, never mind the 308 here. Tell us how that impacts on the public servants.
Right now, public servants pay about 37% of the cost of their contribution, their pension. That will be going up to 50% as well. That starts January 1st, 2013 as well. And that's where the big savings are. I've been using the number $2.6 billion of savings over 5 years. The great majority of that, of course, comes from the 420,000 civil servants and the changes to their pension plan. We also up their retirement age from 60 to 65 for new hires.
Are they bracing for that? That you got much pushback from the public service unions on that? I haven't heard them screaming. I thought they'd be marching on Parliament Hill for that.
Well, I think they knew what we were planning. We did indicate this in Budget 2012, and this is a budget implementation bill, so it's not really surprising at this point.
All right, you're not going to get away with a couple other issues because you're a man of many issues. I got to ask you about the Economic Action Plan. It's been dead for 2 years, and yet you're still spending, according to my friend Bruce Chilo, Canadian Press, $16 million just in the first 3 months of this year to advertise a plan that's been gone for 2 years. Why do you do that?
Well, you see, there's different aspects to the plan. Part of the plan at the time was to get a lot of infrastructure spending out the door because that created jobs and economic activity. We're at a different phase of the plan now. It's still the Economic Action Plan. Version 2.0, if you will, in Budget 2012, and that's about generating more jobs in the private sector economy, making sure that we spend within our means. That means obviously cutting our spending so we can get to a balanced budget. That's part of it. Increasing our trade opportunities, rejigging how we train people and the expectations for newcomers, what skills they have. So this is quite an important plan for economic growth and job creation in our economy. That job doesn't change.
Well, we don't mind being a media that takes advertising, but I still think that people think that's an incongruity between a restraint thing and advertising. I presume it goes on more than just the 16 million.
Government does advertise every year. In fact, our advertising expenditure has gone down considerably from the previous Liberal government, and but we still have to advertise what we're doing. We have an obligation to communicate to Canadians.
Okay, can you give us a bit of a hint on our areas of restraint you're going to be looking at going forward? You came down against bureaucrats, like even on parking, and you dealt with the limo overtime question. I mean, those are kind of tinkering around the edges. Are you still finding areas where you think you can cut deeper in the months to come?
Well, look, I think we have an ongoing responsibility to the taxpayer to review expenses. And so I'm not going to stop looking at things. We capped a hospitality that anything over $25,000 has to be approved by the minister. eliminating overtime for drivers. You mentioned that already. So yeah, I consider myself the guy who's looking for the loose change underneath the sofa a little bit, but those pennies and dimes and quarters add up, and so we will continue to do that. And of course, the larger things as well. I think we have a continuing obligation to taxpayers to review how we deliver excellent services to Canadians, but in an affordable way.
Final point, I just want to ask you, Kevin Page and you were a bit of loggerheads over whether he had a mandate to look at spending cuts versus spending increases or money that's being spent. The departments seem to be cooperating with him now. Is that something you've ordered them to do, or are they just doing it on their own?
Well, I think we've always been pretty consistent that we will deliver information to the budget officer that's within his mandate. We will continue to, we've done that in the past. We'll continue to do that. And I think even more importantly to your viewers, Don, is we're going to continue to report to Canadians and report to Parliament through quarterly reports and through estimates and through departmental reports and so on. So that process is ongoing, and it will continue.
All right, Tony Clement, it's always fun to have you on.
Thank you.
I always read you on Twitter. You're doing a lot of tweeting still. That's good. All right, thanks again. All right, let's keep our eye on this pension issue. Let's go for a reality check to an expert on pension reform. Alexander Loren is the CD Howe's pension expert. He joins me from Toronto. Alexander.